Hey everybody, this is Samantha Calamaris with At Properties. It's been a while since I've done an interview, and today I'm excited because I get to talk to Caroline Pearce. She is a TV sports presenter, an author, a fitness expert, broadcaster, athlete, influencer, and many other titles. I could go on all day. I'm a big fan and thankful for her time, so let's get started. Caroline, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for all your support. You're always supporting me online on social media, and for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So what she's trying to say is that I continually pushed her until I got my interview. But no, I do. I am a big fan. And so let's just get started. I found you through an interview with Mike Dolce, and then I became a fan on Instagram. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your history and why fitness became such an important part of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background was as an athlete myself. So I competed for Great Britain. You tell by the accent, I'm from the UK. I competed for Great Britain in heptathlon, the 7 track and field events, and bobsledding as well. So the winter and the summer versions of 2 different sports, and or 2 different games, winter and summer. And then it sort of led me down the path of just wanting to study and be involved with fitness and physiology and nutrition. So I did my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in Loughborough University in the UK, studied sports science, physiology. And when I retired as an athlete, I still had this passion to continue to train hard myself and to share the knowledge that I'd accrued from my sports career and my studies. And then it led me down a path of fitness and sports broadcasting. That's where the 2 kind of marry up. It led me down that path of combining those and making them my career to date.
Sure. You certainly don't look like a bobsledder, but that's that's a totally different time. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
These sports are quite powerful. They can push us.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the UFC MMA world. You're currently the lead host for the Professional Fighters League on ESPN. How did you get involved in this industry? Because it's a tough industry to get into.
Yeah, so in terms of sports broadcasting, that was just something that I had this burning desire to do when I retired as an athlete. I thought, how can I still be involved in sport? How can I still kind of keep amongst that environment of the adrenaline and the competition, etc. So I sort of restudied in sports broadcasting and just learned on the job. But MMA was not what I had initially planned on covering and being involved with, but it was one of those things where the opportunity came up. My name was thrown in the hat to firstly cover the UFC for BT Sport in the UK. And I've always had this kind of mentality where you say yes and you learn. So I said yes, and I learned the sport, and I developed the human interest side of it by meeting the fighters and their families. And I just became a huge fan. And that's what led me out here to live in Los Angeles in the US was my work with the UFC, which led to now my work with the Professional Fighters League, which is on ESPN, as you said, and just what incredible athletes they are. I mean, whether you're someone that likes fight sports or not, you can't deny the athleticism, the dedication. And I could relate to that mentality of what you put your body through to not only compete, but compete in a fight sport, a whole another degree of, craziness in a way.
It most certainly is. And my husband and I just got done watching the Netflix series Kingdom, and wow, did I learn. I have a ton of respect for that industry. Besides, this show was just wonderful, and I hope they do a season 4. But I enjoyed learning about it, and just like you, I love selling real estate. It's my job. It's what I do full time, and this to me is just something. It gives me another outlook or another way of talking to people, and making sure that I'm passionate about what I love. So I love that you've really gotten into that industry. And I think that one thing I really love that you said is that you communicate with the family members. So when you're doing an interview, you're not just walking in, doing it and leaving. You're coming in, you're making them feel comfortable, and the athletes then develop a relationship with you. And that's critical.
Yeah, that was really important from the start. Some of the first events I did with the UFC, it's quite a cold environment when you do the kind of sit down one-on-one interviews prior to the actual fight night. There's the cameras and the crew, and the UFC is stood on alert. Everyone's sort of looking at you. What are you going to ask? Are you going to stay on track and not go off track, as some journalists can do? So I just made it part of my job to, before the camera started rolling and they were, miking me up and putting the mic on the guest, on the fighter, it was just to use that period of time to break the ice. And now I know a lot of them, and we already have that relationship that rapport. But just important to talk to the wife or the coach or the parent or whoever was there as well, because it just makes everyone feel more comfortable. And then once the interview starts, you're already talking. So the idea is you're just continuing that conversation, because a lot of interviewees, they talk away really naturally to you. And then if there's a bit of a pause and they suddenly see the lights go on and they're on camera, they suddenly start talking and acting differently. And I remember thinking, hey, we were just having a really good conversation. What happened? Why are you now choking up? So I kind of see it just as important, my job, what I do off camera, as what I do when the camera starts rolling. And then when you get into a live sports environment and the fight night starts or the event starts, then it's different. Then you're just kind of rolling pretty quick through everything. But if you've developed that rapport in that week leading up to the actual fight, it makes it so much easier to get the emotion, the trust of that person once, when it comes to those post-fight interviews. So I, like you, I love the storytelling element.
It's really cool. It's really cool to see some of the interviews that you've done and the respect that you get from these fighters. So let's talk a little bit about your Instagram. So this is one of my favorite things. It's genuine. It's full of great advice. The content is good. My question to you is, what is the message you're trying to convey, and what do you hope people will see when they view your page?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my Instagram is quite different to what I do in the sports broadcasting world. That's a little bit separate. My Instagram is very fitness, health, nutrition focused. I hope that when you visit my page, you feel inspired, whether it's inspired to move, to exercise, to try a new exercise or workout. I hope you leave feeling educated, that you've learned something. I'll share updates on dietary trends such as intermittent fasting and other things that I've done. I'll share information on supplements and products, experiences that I've had. So occasionally it's just something that might catch your eye and make you think, oh, I feel inspired today. Other times, some of my captions can be quite long, and I hope some people make it to the end and read it and learn something. But I wanted, the goal was always to be a place, and it's evolved over time, where people go to feel educated, inspired, and take something away from that, and hopefully engage with me at the same time.
Yeah, I love your workouts are easy. I can usually just watch a few of them, and people who know, I've interviewed several people in the fitness industry, especially in my area and outside of the area, because it's important to me. I think there's nothing more important than mental fitness right now. We're stuck in our homes. We need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, which brings us to working out's always important, but so is food. Tell us how you tend to balance. I assume that you make it more of a lifestyle than a diet. And how do you make sure that you eat well to fuel your body?
Yeah, for me, it's consistency. So my eating is pretty standard across the board. It's very consistent, and of course it will go off track sometimes with life and events and whatever, but for me it's make your diet a routine in the same way your work day is, in the same way other things you have to structure into your life. So I pretty much know what time I'm going to eat, when I have breakfast, lunch, dinner, what foods I'm going to have. I shop in advance, so I've got all the ingredients and the foods that I need. I try not to leave myself in a situation where I'm just grabbing at anything that's left, because
yes,
not shopped
been
and
there.
Tempting treats. So I just say to people, I'm not really an advocate of a specific diet that restricts or cuts anything out personally. I've seen people have success with those diets. And one of the important things is we're all very different. If I tell you what I eat, it might not be what would work for you, and so I'm a big fan of DNA fitness testing and things like that, the saliva swabs you can send off and get a really detailed breakdown as to what your body needs, whether you're better with fats or carbohydrates or whatever it might be. But for me personally, to just eat a well-balanced combination of macronutrients, the fats, the proteins, the carbohydrates, in all on the plate every meal. It's not like one meal is cutting out carbs, etc. I tend to avoid starchy carbs, so your breads and pastas and things like that, but I certainly don't cut out carbs. I have good fats. We're learning now fat mobilizes fat in the body, and I make sure I get enough protein. So when I eat typically about 5 times a day, whether that's main meals and snacks, I'm just saying, have I got all of those components in this meal? And then, adding spices and changing things up a little bit. And then when I go out and have a meal, that's when I might have a dessert, or I might have one of, my favorite croissant on a weekend or something like that. So I don't advocate that, these things become forbidden, bad foods that, we develop an unhealthy relationship with, and that yo-yoing effect. It's just consistency, and be kind to yourself sometimes if things go off track, and get yourself, back into routine again.
That's definitely a good quote. Be kind to yourself. So tell me, what's next for Caroline Pearce? Like where are you going? I know, first of all, let's talk about it real quick because you just moved, right? How is that?
It's fantastic. I've actually only moved about 1.5 miles down the road from where I lived before, but into a lovely house with more space. And I'm used to traveling so much. So the apartment I had, I loved, and it was fantastic. But then with lockdown and with these sort of staying at home more, I thought, well, I have to get out of these same walls and I need more space. So my boyfriend and I moved in together, and we've got a lovely house now with some outdoor space and everything. So that's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, making it home. Still in Los Angeles, in West Hollywood, which just the sun shining is definitely a savior of these crazy times. But in terms of what's next, things are really building up again now. So I haven't even put this, well, it's pretty much going on my Instagram now, announcing our PFL season for 2021 has been confirmed. We'll be back traveling, probably around the US. I'm not sure the exact locations, but back traveling and hosting the fights for the Professional Fighters League. So that kicks off in April of next year. So that's exciting. But meanwhile, I'm moving into an exclusive relationship with FitOn, the app that I work with. So we've got lots of exciting new workouts that we'll be filming. It's a free app, FitOn, for anyone that's interested. And myself and around 14 to 16 other trainers have different workouts in our areas of speciality, whether it's kickboxing or strength, yoga, Pilates, etc. So we've got some exciting plans for content and workouts coming up. And I work with PowerPlate, the vibration training technology, which we were talking about off camera as well. Fantastic product for home workout solutions, fantastic. It uses vibration to accelerate muscle contractions and increase blood flow and help boost your immune system as well. So I've got a lot planned with them too. So should be getting a little bit busier now as the next few months roll on.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot more people looking for in-home stuff. And we talked about how they have the portable version. So people, I'll post something on that so people can take a look at it. It has been such a pleasure watching you. You're sweet, you're nice, and I can't wait to come and see a fight. So I'm going to come and see one and hopefully get to meet you in person in 2021. Thank you for your time. Keep it up, and I hope that you get nothing but success in the future.
Thank you, and congratulations on your show. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm trying, right? But I still do love selling real estate. That is my number one job. All right, thank you.